Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Gene on Long Island. Gene, you're on the other side of midnight with Lionel.
Hey, Lionel, why would somebody stay at the Guthrie home for 45 minutes and risk, say, a visitor or someone stopping by? I have a feeling that it's an inside person, a family member or something. Let's say they got dropped off so that there's no car outside. Say they got dropped off and they hang around, have a cup of tea or coffee or whatever for 45 minutes.
Do us a favor. Bring us up to speed of what happened during this 45-minute period. What happened then?
I haven't investigated, but I keep hearing that there were 45 minutes when whoever took her was in the house.
How do we know that? How do we know that?
Well, this is what was reported.
I know.
I don't.
I'm going to look into that. I don't know how you can tell if somebody was in the house.
I don't know. I think it had something to do with electronics, maybe her pacemaker.
Wasn't she when they came, wasn't she either, she might have been, was she in bed at the time? Was she, how long before she was dropped off? Remember, she took it.
I'm not sure of.
Yeah.
Well, also the blood drop doesn't make sense.
Why is it?
Doesn't make sense. It's kind of like OJ.
Why doesn't it make sense?
It didn't make sense for me for OJ. He was hitting golf balls in his front yard.
Oh no, that's another story.
He's a guy's waiting for him, or he's waiting for the limousine,
right.
And then he decides to drop his clubs and go kill his wife.
Allen Park. No, it was before that. It was before that.
Right. But I mean, he was hitting golf balls in his yard.
Well, he said he was. Remember, he said he was. Nobody really saw him. He said he was. They said, "What are you doing out that night?" See, OJ was a different story. When OJ came back after he went and killed his wife and Ron Goldman, he hurried on back, and he was seen at 30 past the hour, by the way. He was seen by this woman.
He was seen at 30 past the hour. No.
He was seen by this woman driving frenetically, crazily, I should say, back to the scene. So what happened was Allen Park, who was the limo driver, realized, I got to get here early because that's O.J. Simpson. And I want to make sure that I get there because his limo was really long and the street in front of the house was very kind of tortuous. It wasn't very big. So he says, I want to make sure I get there early so I can make sure I can drive and turn the corner. So he drives around once very, very carefully, and there was no white Bronco there. When he drives around the second time, lo and behold, there's a white Bronco. And it was on an angle like somebody just jumped out. And he was going on a trip to Chicago, and all of his cars were inside the property behind the gate, but the white Bronco was outside by itself.
But why didn't they ever question his son?
Who, Justin? They did. His son knew nothing. His son knew nothing about it. His son wasn't there. No. See, but what happened was, remember what happened. But what's most important, this is why it was great. See, at the time, you might ask yourself, why did he have? If you want to talk about OJ, this is my expertise. Why did he have gloves? What the hell were the gloves for? And why did he wear a wool cap? What was that all about? Well, at the time, he was making a movie called Frogmen. And all during the day, every day, he was hanging around with old Navy SEALs and UDT and all these other people. And he kept hearing about underwater demolition, about silent kill and pulling them in the boat and slicing their throat. And this is what he kept hearing all day long from these ex-Navy SEAL types who wanted to impress O.J. Simpson. And O.J. at the time was really interested. He was always like spying on his wife. And they say he was methed out of his mind, according to the one witness. So what he did was he went over there to see who was there. Because remember, one time he showed up, and there was a guy named Keith Zlomzowicz. And O.J. looked in the window, and she was doing, as they say in the streets, the chicken head with Keith Zlomzowicz. And O.J. sees this. And he said later on, I didn't get upset. When I saw you in public, I didn't get upset after he saw this. So this drove him nuts. So O.J. came back that night, and he shows up. He had the knife, and they thought maybe he was going to slice her tires. So all of a sudden, he shows up, and she's got lights, like candles all over the place, like little votive candles. And he says, oh, who's your boyfriend, huh? None of your business. You know, sometimes a woman can tell a man something that to anybody else it doesn't seem like much, but to a man it can set him off. So she says, what do you want? I imagine. And who walks up the walkway? Ron Goldman, returning the glasses. And he probably said, hey, you're O.J. Simpson. And he was stabbed to the point where he was also like picked up like a rump roast, thrown to the side. Oh, almost decapitated her. So he leaves, takes off, jumps into the Bronco, hurries back. And there's Alan Park driving around, trying to get a good position. And he says, there wasn't a Bronco when I made the first turn, but when I came back again, there it was. And O.J., he runs. He gets out of the car and he runs. And on the side of the house, there was an air conditioner. Sometimes air conditioners can stick out. And he ran and hit this thing as hard as he could, almost knocked himself out. And Cato Kalin was inside. And here's this big crash. What do you think was in his pockets then? The glove. It fell out. And when they said remember they said Mark Furman, he planted it. I asked Mark Furman. Mark Furman came on my show on WABC. And I asked Mark Furman, I said, let me ask you something. Did you know where O.J. was that night? He said, no. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What if you planted the glove? It turns out O.J. was in Brazil. And you said, aha, I found a bloody glove. It's O.J.'s. He's not even in the country. Oh, so you have to know where he is, don't you? So anyway, O.J. hits this air conditioner, and what's his name? Alan Park sees his dark figure go in. All of a sudden, the lights go on, and as he's hitting the buzzer, I'm here. All of a sudden, the dark figure moves, lights go on, it's O.J. I'll be there in a minute. And O.J.'s running wash and getting the bloody suck. Oh, so guilty, not even funny. But remember, that's a little different. That's a little different because we know who did it, but the question is, how do you prove it? In this case with Guthrie, we don't know who did it. We don't even know what happened. I don't know if it's an abduction, a botched robbery. I'm not sure about this botched robbery because these guys are really good. If you botch a robbery, you're going to say, well, since we killed her, let's just take her and let's demand money. Imagine that. Most people will say, you know what, the hell with this. Let's just get out of Dodge.
Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Payne Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.